Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to MaxSpeedTV. Thank you very much for joining me. I am here in the booth. My name is KR Stolfus, and along with me is Tanner Sharp. Mr. Sharp, how you doing tonight?
Doing all right. Looking forward to get this rally race underway for three-wide racing here at the Lucas Oil Raceway.
We are moving right along, jumping right into qualifying here. And we are at Lucas Oil Raceway. It's going to be a interesting track. A lot of discussion about practicing and all that kind of stuff and how it's hard to pass and getting good lap times. Have you turned many laps out here?
I have not. I have not stepped foot in these cars yet or taken the time to drive, but I have observed these guys in the practice session that they ran about for about a half hour now. That ended about maybe 10 minutes ago. Right now they're in qualification, but yeah, it seems like there's one part of the track that, like, the first couple corners are the slowest part of the track before the start-finish line, before that jump. And then you get that long drifting dirt on the pit road there. Then you got to make a hard left and comes back around to the start-finish line. So this is going to be a challenge for these guys. From what I've heard these guys talk about earlier, they like this track better than Iowa. So we'll see. So far, the highest I've seen so far in the qualification was a 43, and actually Peter Short just posted a 42.792, the fastest I've seen all night tonight.
Peter Short setting a quick time out there with a 42.79, like you said, and that's going to be kind of the fast time. We were watching practice. They were doing high 42s, and here we are in a 42.7 once again.
Yeah, absolutely. Peter Short had a bad fast car last week or 2 weeks ago at Iowa Speedway in these rally races, and he did not win the race, even though he started on the pole. But tonight, so far in the first heat race, he's going to start on the pole unless someone can knock him off that 42.792 lap time.
We got just about 8 minutes, 10 seconds left to qualify, so if they're going to do it, they should have plenty of time to make some fine-tuning adjustments to the vehicle and figure out how they can beat him.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think Peter Short will be the class of field here in this first heat race, but we might see one of them with side-by-side finishes coming to the line, because you got some good talent in this first heat race tonight. I want to actually name off all these drivers: Levi Zielinski, Jordan Teal, Chad Brown, Kyle Hanshaw, Nick Miller, Sam Close, and Nathan Velez. So all these guys are real talented drivers, especially on the oval side of racing. I've had the honor and privilege to race with those guys in the past. Hopefully I get to race with them in the future. We'll see. But tonight they're doing rallycross, and kind of glad I'm up here in the booth, because there's certain parts of the racetrack where I might just flat out wreck it.
You know what? I share your sentiment. There's good reason why I'm up here in the booth, and I'll tell you, these cars are fun to drive. I do spend a lot of time practicing with them, but I just don't have the talent to get out there and race with people, and it's a tough car to do. You gotta have a lot of that throttle control, as these young kids like to call it.
Oh yeah. I just see Peter Short whack the barrels going through the Joker lap part of the racetrack. And speaking of the Joker lap, every driver gets one Joker lap. So hopefully, and we've seen a lot of advantages taken that last week or 2 weeks ago at Iowa Speedway. So we'll see how this first heat race is going to go. I am expecting a couple of wrecks in the first portion of the race, but realistically, Peter Short is the class of the field as of right now. But you were watching that second practice session in the other room while I was watching the first one. You said Drew Eisman was posting some 42s up on top of the board. So this is going to be a very interesting night as this night proceeds.
It will be, and Drew Eisman not in this heat, so to speak. We'll be getting him in the second heat, so really kind of won't be able to see the battle of these two titans until come future time, if both of them make it through.
Yeah, they actually did make it through 2 weeks ago. Both of them did, and actually they all ended up wrecking, realistically. I don't know if you remember that big old wreck in that tight left-hander that everybody tried getting through? That was actually pretty funny up here in the booth, but tell you what, it was good entertainment to watch, and hopefully it was good entertainment for the folks at home, because these fellas really put on a great show no matter what they're driving.
A great show is what we're after, and hopefully it'll be every bit as entertaining tonight. But before we can go any further, I would just like to do a couple bit of bill-paying duties here. We'll make sure we mention simspeedshop.com. They can sell you a button box of high quality if you are after one. Go ahead and check them out at simsspeedshop.com and also hremotorsports.com. That's a racing team here on iRacing. Got their own website. They would appreciate if you would check out what they're up to at hremotorsports.com. Speaking of racing teams, Elite 7 Racing as well. You can find them on Facebook where they share stats and stories and all kinds of other good stuff. Virtual to reality.tv. These guys are doing some great things here in the iRacing series, and look forward to more of what's coming out of their little neck of the woods. Also, Dirtco Media House. That is another one here that is making a big stir in the iRacing communities. That's Dirtco Media House. And finally, Ohio IndyCar League. These guys from Ohio, they race IndyCars, their league. What more needs to be said about that? So if you get the chance, check them out. So that'll do it. We got about 4 minutes, 20 seconds left of qualifying. And Nick Miller's put it in second spot right now with a 43.892.
Yeah, a little over a second under Peter Short, but I tell you what, Nick Miller is the only guy so far in the 43-second bracket to where third, fourth, fifth, and sixth are all running 44-second lap times, which actually with third, fourth, and fifth being the closest lap times, only separated by 3/10, so 3/10 of a second. So this is going to be a very interesting race as these guys are going to be racing for that top 5 spot, because I believe the top 5 drivers move on.
Top 5 drivers will advance out of each heat race. We'll have 2 heat races with a little bit of a break in between each one so the next session can load up. Gotta work a little bit of movie magic, so to speak, to get all this in tonight. So hopefully everyone will stick around with us and enjoy the show. Kyle Hanshaw, he's sitting in 4th place right now. Just lost it a little bit right there. His best time so far is a 44.049. Sitting in 4th, Levi Zielinski is in 5th with a 44.373. And just as I say that, Sam Close comes out and knocks him out of top 5 and turns a 44.066.
Wasn't it Kyle Hanshaw that had the tremendous run in that one heat race last week, or was that, or am I thinking about somebody else?
Kyle Hanshaw, I think he was making a comeback on Nick Miller. Was it the other way around?
I think it's the other way around. I think Nick Miller was making the comeback.
Okay. I do remember Nick Miller making that comeback. I can't remember what Kyle Hanshaw was doing. Man, I should do my research, huh?
Yeah, that was one of those heat races, and one of them actually did not make it. I do believe that would have been Nick Miller. Hanshaw was actually beat him to the line, as Nick Miller was the one that was trying to play catch-up. But I tell you what, we're looking forward to a great race here at Lucas Oil Raceway, and I actually kind of like racing the oval side. I'm not a fan of flat tracks, but the oval side here, as far as racing the trucks or the Nationwide car, the Xfinity car, they're a blast to race. But iRacing comes out with this Red Bull Global Rallycross, and everybody has loved it since its release.
This Global Rallycross it's a hoot, man. I tell you, I enjoy driving it, and these guys doing a great job at laying down a lap time here. You know, Peter Short, I just cannot get over this 42.792 lap time that he's turned. It's just insane to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of the fastest times I've seen all night, especially with the 30-minute practice session that these guys have ran earlier. So that's telling me Peter Short is going to be one of the fastest guys out there all night, especially in this heat race. And if he wins this heat race, because we have seen some unknown surprises last week in that main event, or 2 weeks ago in that main event at Iowa, tonight, if Peter Short is able to win this race, he's going to be a factor in that main event tonight.
You know, one of the things that is really interesting about Lucas Oil Raceway is the Joker Lap. In most iRacing Global Rallycross tracks configuration, the Joker Lap is a little bit of a shortcut, and it will decrease your lap time a little bit. But here, not much of a shortcut, and in fact, a lot of people when they try and make the Joker lap, find that the left-hand turn coming out of the Joker lap is a lot more difficult than running it on the outside on the actual paved part of the track.
Yeah, who would have thought the Joker lap was probably the hardest part of the racetrack? I mean, I wouldn't have thought that. I thought that that Joker lap was a big advantage 2 weeks ago in Iowa, but tonight, just by looking at that Joker lap and to the regular part of the track, I mean, it looks like the Joker lap will be slower, but we're gonna find out if how many guys are gonna use that Joker lap. We'll find that out here in about a couple seconds.
Yep, qualifying is drawn to a close, and so Peter Short is going to be on your row 1, and Jordan Teal. Well, you know what? This is set up for side-by-side oval stuff, not global rallycross, because they all just getting pretty much just 2 lines, lengthwise, not nose to tail.
Nope, they'll be side by side at the start of the race, and they're going to get down a timer. They're not going to have any kind of pace lap or anything like that. They're going to have like a red, a yellow, and a green, I believe. That's how it is. They'll get a timer on their screen, and once it goes green, they're going to mash that gas, and they're going to go and watch out for the very first corner. That very first tight corner is going to be maybe the biggest issue of the night. We'll see.
All right, so Peter Short will be your quick time qualifier. Jordan Teal 2nd, Nick Miller 3rd, Kyle Hanshaw 4th. Sam Close 5th. Levi Zielinski will be 6th. Chad Brown 7th. And that was all I could get through before it all just disappeared and reset. So we are getting ready to have our first heat race.
Yep, 2 drivers that did not take any kind of qualification time, and that was Nathan Velez and Matt Hackathorn. But I am not. Am I seeing them in the session? Yeah, yes, I am. So they are in the session here tonight. They just did not take a qualification time.
So they will be starting in the back, but you know it's not really a terrible thing here to be in the back. The charge to the turn 1, these things just insane every time they charge the turn 1.
I tell you what, look at this first row right here, the 22, the 33, and the 99. You know, they're going to have a 3-wide start right here. This is going to be a very interesting start. You're going to have the 46 of Hanshaw right behind them. And then you got 2 packs of cars. Actually, they might line up 3 wide behind the 46 there. We'll have to see once everybody gets gridded up. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys out of 9 so far that have gridded up so far.
These guys are ready and anxious. So are we, because this is going to get interesting. We're doing 10 laps here for this heat race. Man,
10 laps. No prisoners.
10 laps. It's going to be a good long race here at Lucas Oil Raceway Park, or IRP as I still like to call it.
Yep, IRP. That was back in the, that was like a 10-year ago kind of thing, back on the old NASCAR stuff, like the games and stuff. But I do want to point out the weather here tonight is partly cloudy, nice and sunny out, 78 degrees. The track temperature, circle that, 100 degrees. That's the sun shining on the racetrack. Afternoon setting, the wind is only 2 miles an hour coming from the north. And we are going to be about to go green here very quickly.
Here we go. Lights are on, getting ready to get some action.
Green, green, green.
Green is in the air. Here we go.
7 cars so far has started the race. This is the first turn right here, actually the final turn before you get that start-finish line right there. Short is off and away, down in its first corner. Anybody take that Joker lap just yet? I'm not seeing anything.
No one.
Everybody's getting bottled up in the back, though. Oh, car upside down in the back. That would have been Sam Close.
Sam Close is trying to get off this wall here. Not giving up yet. There he goes, and he's broke free.
Yeah, he got pinched by the I believe it was a 64 Chad Brown that really turned Sam inside out.
So Sam has got some work to do. He's currently scored
trouble
6.
again. We got an orange card. That would have been
Chad
Nick
Brown
Miller
and Nick Miller. Nick Miller and Chad Brown.
Ooh, that's 2 weeks in a row for Nick Miller there.
However, Nick Miller sitting currently scored 5th place. So he's going to make it if he can maintain this position.
So far, nobody has not yet taken the Joker lap, but we do got a pretty close side, not a close side-by-side battle, but they're close enough to battle at some point, give or take. That's Jordan Teal and Kyle Henshaw.
Jordan Teal, Kyle Henshaw definitely fighting it out right here. And I do have a Joker lap score item popping up on the left side of the screen. That way, when a Joker lap is taken, you'll be able to see when it happens.
Chad Brown, the biggest move of the race so far, started 7th, currently in 4th. Tell you what, this battle for second place is heating up. Henshaw got really close to that back bumper of Jordan Teal, going over the jump. Kind of drifting right here in this section of the racetrack. Dirt part of the track. Tight left-hander right here. Let's see if Henshaw can get him. Nothing yet.
Henshaw losing a little bit of ground on that asphalt side here, but looks like he gains it right back once they get into the dirt.
Oh, there goes Teal. Teal's taken, and he hits the wall. Teal took the Joker lap. Oh, a nice little bump right there, and I put Teal into the wall. Henshaw takes over second place.
And Teal looks like his car is definitely in a lot of trouble, having a hard time getting it pointed in the right direction.
I wonder if taking at the Joker lap is a little bit of a mistake here.
You definitely have got to take it with some ease. You can't just charge right into it. And Sam Close smoking stopped on the track.
Oh, no.
His car is smoking. He looks like he is most likely done. Nope, now he's rolling again, letting cars get by, but a lot of smoke coming out of that machine.
The old Herbie machine actually really hit the inside wall, and he hit it just enough to where the car literally barrel rolled.
So Sam Close having 2 incidents with the wall so far and having a lot of smoke come out of that machine. He's still out there, though. He's not giving up.
We got a battle that's heating up, I'm seeing right here, between Nick Miller and Chad Brown. Here comes Nick Miller, giving a little bump and push. Chad Brown trying to, or is that the 33, excuse me, of Jordan Teal, trying to regain control of his car. This is like a 3-car battle on track.
Jordan Teal, Nick Miller going at it here. Chad Brown also able to get through, gets on the outside wall there.
Now we're trading some paint.
So
look at that crossover.
Down to the inside, the 64 machine of Chad Brown. But I'll tell you what, Nick Miller's car just powered on through right there.
Definitely did. Like Teal here, who's yeah, that was Nick Miller, excuse me. Team blurry. Chad Brown. That was Brown and Nick Miller going at it. Teal a little further back.
Teal in the 33 sitting in the final transfer spot. He has really slowed down his lap time, so that car is heavily damaged. And as you can see, we're zooming in now on Peter Short coming around here. 4 laps to go. He's got a good chance of lapping Jordan Teal.
Yeah, he's just he's just having a Sunday drive right now, just taking it really easy, not pushing anything. There's no pressure from behind. Kyle Henshaw's in second. He's coming through the dirt section right now. There goes Peter Short.
We go on board with Peter Short with our T&D Rustic Decor camera. Diving it here into what would be IRP turn 1 and then onto the dirt side of it. I don't know what turn number that is. Would that be like?
I don't know, but he's got a lot of wheel into it though.
2A, something like that. 1A, 2A. How would you label that?
I have no idea how to label it. Just the first couple corners. But I tell you what, Peter Short is putting a lot of wheel into it. Even, he looks like a driver hard at work, but I'm sure he's probably taking it easy. His lap times are, his last time by was a 43.297. This time by a 43 flat.
So he's really picking up and laying it down. His qualifying time was a 42.7. So turning a 43 here, not slowing down a whole lot from qualifying to his heat race.
Yeah, not a whole lot, even though he doesn't have the pressure behind him.
Meanwhile, checking in on Nick Miller, sitting in 3rd place in the 99 machine. Got good separation here from Chad Brown now. Chad Brown in the black 64 Guinness Volkswagen, the people's car.
Yeah, Nick Miller actually, he actually wrecked early in the race, and he's actually making a comeback right now. He's up to 3rd place right now. I don't think he's going to catch Hanshaw, but he's escaped the clutches of Chad Brown. Chad Brown currently running the 4th position. That car is all dirty on my screen, picking up all that dirt. It is a black car, so all that dirt, all that black is turning into brown, just like his last name. And Jordan Teal actually is back in 5th place, has not recovered. Even though, actually, he doesn't even have any pressure behind him either, because Sam Close is off the racetrack, currently in 6th.
Yep, and the white flag is flying right now for Peter Short. Coming around here last few corners to take the checkered flag. And he's just dominated this race. Got out to an early lead and never looked back.
Pure domination from Peter Short. He'll take the checkered flag right now. Kyle Hanshaw is going to come around. And he is going to he's going to finish in 2nd with no pressure behind him. Nick Miller, tell you what a good comeback. And now that means he'll be in the main event. Maybe he can put on a good show for us in that main event. Maybe he can finish in that top 3. He's going to come out and finish 3rd. Chad Brown more than likely going to finish 4th, and Jordan Teal going to round out that top 5. That's going to advance in the main event.
So these top 5 drivers all getting to advance here that are still out on track. You got a feel for Sam Close. Had what I thought probably was a decent car to make the show, but those walls jumped up and bit him this time.
Yeah, it definitely did. So it's very unfortunate for Sam Close and Levi Zielinski, them guys, who are really fast no matter where they go. It's just that tonight wasn't to be.
All right, I have pulled our heat race #1 winner, Mr. Peter Short. Are you there, sir?
Yes, sir.
How are you so stinking fast in this car? Give us your secrets so that we can duplicate it.
You gotta turn right to turn left. No, this car is all about being smooth into the corner and trying to keep your momentum up, and then somehow getting the differential to hook up, because there's sometimes when the differential doesn't want to hook up with these things. And but these cars are a lot of fun. I absolutely love them. It's all about weight shifting and transferring the weight from the left side to the right side of the car and vice versa. And it makes it a lot of fun. I think last season we did some 360s with the sprint cars, and those were a lot of fun. And some of that information I was able to learn back then is actually transferred over to these things.
So you're able to transfer weight, and you can feel it here in a certain way that just allows you to fly through and do all this crazy stuff you're out there doing. Does it look like you only lost maybe 0.3 of a second from your fastest qualifying time towards the end of your heat race?
Yeah, the track conditions are ever changing here in the GRC races, which makes it really interesting from the perspective of a driver, because it seemed like really early on when the track is very fresh, there's a lot of grip on the oval side of this track, and then as the race wears on, you start to lose some of that grip on the pavement, and you start to see some of the pavement actually come up through some of the dirt, and so the dirt starts to wear away and you start to get grip on the dirt. So the lap time, it's kind of weird. You look at your optimal lap time and you'll never be able to hit your optimal because of the way the track condition is at any one time, but it makes it really fun and really entertaining.
Yeah, I got a question there for you there, Peter. And my question is what's the difference with that Joker lap? I mean, we didn't see a lot of people take it, and when we did see someone take that Joker lap here tonight in that first heat race, it just seemed like it was a disaster. Is the Joker lap would be worth taking or not worth taking?
Well, you have to take it once, or else you get like a 30-second time penalty added on.
Oh.
Yeah, so you have to take it. But here at Lucas Oil Raceway, for whatever reason, the Joker is a hindrance. It doesn't help you. The only way that the Joker might be able to help you is you can get to the inside line if you're really like a bull in a china shop. You can get that inside line and maybe bully someone to knock them offline. But you know the Joker is difficult. It's very narrow. It's very shallow entry into the corner, and it's honestly pretty difficult. And I did not gain any time. I have not been able to gain any time running this Joker. I always lose time running this Joker, and that's because it shallows out your entry into the next corner. But it's definitely an interesting little aspect. Trying to figure out when you want to use it. You want to use it early or wait for later in the race. It's just an added little element to these races.
Yeah, absolutely. Hit the nail right there. And now you're going to be in that final main event here tonight. And 2 weeks ago at Iowa, it didn't go the way you planned. Any kind of strategy to try to change up to maybe to avoid those incidents in tonight's main event tonight?
Yeah, yeah, like you said, it didn't exactly go to plan. But the way these races are, you get a whole bunch of cars going for the same apex at the same time at a very narrow track. So if there's a little bit of contact in turn one, I kind of expect it. I don't think there's really any way to avoid it. I kind of want to be at the front, so if I get bumped, maybe I can recover a little bit faster than I did last week. But it's one of those things that I kind of expect there to be some bumping, so we'll have to wait and see. It'll be an exciting main.
Yeah, it's going to be an exciting main event, and you made pretty much made it look easy, but it's going to be challenging out there because you're going to have a good group of drivers from the second heat race joining with you. At least the top 5 of them will be, but hopefully you'll be able to finish up there, actually get a win this time instead of finishing 3rd place. So good luck later tonight there, Peter.
All right, thank you.
Back to you, Kier.
All right, well, a good conversation there with Peter Short. And Peter, I'm going to stick you in a room because I don't remember where I got you from.
Tevor bed.
So, there we go. I forgot where I pulled him from, so hopefully I stuck him in the right room, and apparently I did not.
That's okay. I'm sure they'll find a way around.
So, anyways, good conversation there with him, and, I don't think I'm going to be able to translate anything he said and actually make myself faster in this car. I think it's just going to come down to a lot of seat time.
Yeah, I think it does come down to a lot of seat time. You're going to have a lot of seat time to really maneuver and manhandle these race cars. And obviously, Peter Short has done that, and he loves this race car. He loves this combination racetrack, and he's already wiped out the memories of Iowa from 2 weeks ago, and he is set dead focus on tonight's main event. And watch it, folks. Peter Short's going to be a main factor. We'll just have to see how other drivers in the second heat race really do.
So Peter Short winning heat race number 1. Heat race number 2, we're waiting for it to load up and kick off here in just a few more minutes. Anything you'd like to mention that really stood out in your mind in this first heat race?
Realistically, that first heat race was a fairly clean race. I mean, we've seen a couple of incidents here and there, but I mean, that was obviously to be expected. But I like Nick Miller's little comeback right there, even though he only gained a couple of positions, but it was still a nice comeback to finish 3rd. Peter Short, just flat out dominance. Nobody could even match him in that first heat race, so he gets a little bit of a break to watch the second heat race. Hopefully, it's live here on MaxSpeedTV. But I tell you what. It should be a good, clean second heat race, but the intensity is going to pick up in that main event.
The main event is going to be it's going to be the main event. It's the main event for the reason.
It is.
And it's going to be exciting, but we got to get through heat race number 2. And the things that stand out to me here in heat race number 1, that hairpin turn when they're transitioning from dirt to tarmac down in Lucas Oil Raceway Park, turn 3, that looks like a very tight turn, and it seems like a lot of time can be gained and lost right there to me, determining how well you're able to hug and throw your car 90 degrees or 180 degrees essentially, and still hug that inside line, get your nose right along the tires there that are outside that turn.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree with you, and I can't say too much more about that because you really notched up everything. What I was about to say was that tight left-hander right there in that Lucas Oil turn 3 oval section part of the racetrack. If you can just hit that just right, throughout the night, you'll gain time. And there's obviously other parts of the racetrack where you can gain time too. But that little section of the racetrack right there seems like is the difference maker on whether you're going to gain time or lose time.
So, all right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and run us into some commercials here as we prepare for the next session. So, guys, stick around. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back.
The car behind me is my Chili Bowl midget, the one that I won the Chili Bowl with. And what's interesting about that is it's actually the car that iRacing scanned that's going to be available to all the iRacing members out there.
Just like a movie, just like a storybook, we are the future, we're the ones they won't overlook. It's time to be the hero, rising like you've never seen, like you've never seen. Looking for a hero, just like in a dream, just like in a dream.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to MaxSpeedTV, here with the 3-Wide Racing League. In the booth with me is Tanner Sharp. My name is KR Stolfus, and we are bringing you Heat Race number 2 action. Right now, we are in qualifying. Got about 8 minutes, 20 seconds left to qualifying. And some more of the same here. We got some fast guys in this one, and we got some sideways drifting, jumping action to talk about.
Yes, we do. Just very similar to the very first heat race tonight. So far, I am not seeing a 42 posted on the board as of yet, but I'm sure Mr. Drew Eisman is on track and he's going to take care of that. Not just yet, but I'm sure at some point tonight. But hey, let's talk about the guy that is on top of the board, and that is Kevin Finn so far with a 43.687. So far, so good, along with Mr. Johnny Thomas. In qualification, Drew Eisman, Carlos Acosta, and Corey Lindsay rounding out that top 5.
So Corey Lindsay, league admin owner out there, running in, scored 5th place in qualifying right now. And you know what? He's another one of those Team Blurry drivers who we just talked a lot about them in Nick Miller.
Yeah, absolutely. So Nick Miller is going to be in that main event, and it'll be pretty cool to have a teammate in that main event as well. Even though your teammate can't really help you, but it's always cool to have a teammate in the main event with you.
It does add a little bit of camaraderie, especially when your teammate's the one that dumped you.
Yeah, absolutely. But things like that do happen. And actually, we got Johnny Thomas on top of the leaderboard now, even with one of the faster times with a 43.207. That's about the same times Peter Short was running in race trim in that first heat race.
Yeah, Peter Short and race trim was turning some quick lap times. Johnny Thomas holding on to that top spot. Drew Eisman, who we were watching in practice before any of the heat races, he was down in the 42-second bracket as well, so might be holding back a little bit here, trying to figure out his car setup a little bit.
Just a little bit, and I'm seeing a driver that I'm a little bit worried about is Paul Ross. He's not in the top 5 in qualification. In the practice session, he was 5th fastest in practice, so not too much faster. He was posting 44s, and actually he was faster in practice than what he was in qualification, but it's still early in qualifying yet.
It's still early. We still have over 5 minutes to go in it. And, you know, getting the car fine-tuned, a little bit tricky in my opinion in these things. You know, we're spending a lot of time talking to our heat race winner, Peter Short. He's talking about differentials and all this and that, and I was like, yeah, isn't that a math equation?
Yeah, you know, I think you do got a limit. They do run fixed setups, and you are limited on what you can change in the setup screen within the chassis and the drivetrain. And not a lot of people do understand all the stuff that is going on into the car, because these cars are so much different, especially from my fine tuning, because I used to fine tune a little bit on the NASCAR side portion. But these cars are a little different because you are on dirt and pavement at the same time, and they're nothing close to a NASCAR stock car, believe me. But from all the feedback that I've been hearing, they're still very fun to drive.
These cars are very fun to drive. Like I said, I have spent some time driving them. I'm not very good at it. I have spent some time, and I get a hoot out of it, especially when you launch it off the jump. And man, just watched the car go into the Joker lap and got it all wrong.
Yeah, Peter Short made a comment about that Joker lap, and you have to at least take a Joker lap, otherwise you get some kind of penalty from the iRacing system, which is understandable, but you really got to be careful taking that Joker lap when you take it.
So Johnny Thomas still sitting on top of our leaderboard here for this qualifying session, and Drew Eisenman in second. Thomas with a lap time of a 43.207, and Eisenman with a 43.256. So those guys pretty close on time right there.
Yeah, very close actually. And Eisman, I know he can run faster. And actually you said he ran a 42 in the practice session that they ran earlier tonight. So Eisman maybe just trying to brush off a couple cobwebs. We'll see. I know Eisman's fast either way, no matter where he goes, and as well as Johnny Thomas. And it's great to see Johnny Thomas on top of the leaderboard like this.
It is great to see Johnny Thomas on the leaderboard. You know, another driver of the Team Blurry, Carlos Acosta, and he's sitting in 4th place in time. So, you know, he's someone we're going to have to keep an eye on. You know, as we said, only the top 5 from this heat race are going to transfer into the show.
Good to see Carlos Acosta start in the top 5 tonight, but it may feel good on where you're going to start, but it's more important on where you're going to finish.
Very important on how you finish here. You know, like we're saying, top 5 get through, and you have got to survive lap 1 if you want to be around for lap 10.
Yeah, you do, especially the first very tight left-hander corner just after the entrance of the Joker lap, which was the start of the disaster in the first heat race tonight, where we've seen guys all bottle up. So that's going to be the toughest part of the track when everybody's all in one big pack. They're eventually going to separate, but like you said, that one corner of the racetrack over by turn 3 on the oval side, that left-hander, that's going to be make or break your race realistically.
A lot of time to be gained there, in my opinion, and I really want to say if you can pirouette your nose around those blue tires and maintain a good rate of speed at doing it, you're going to be fast.
Definitely going to be fast indeed, and it's just a matter if you hit your marks just right, because this is kind of like saying this is pretty much dirt racing on the road course side, and that's practically what this is. So I would expect the guys who run on the road course side on pavement, I expect them to do well here. But again, we have seen some unexpected things happen. Look what happened in Iowa 2 weeks ago. The fast guys were running as somebody's flying on the fence in the turn 3 area. But, you know, that main event really changed everything up. That main event 2 weeks ago at Iowa was nothing like the heat races. It was more carnage, and we've seen Paul Ross take the checkered flag. So, I mean, there's a lot of unexpected things that are going to happen here tonight, even in the second heat race.
You mentioned Paul Ross. He's currently 5th in the scoring sheet out on the track, getting ready to go over the jump. And a lot of guys are swinging this way out wide for the jump. And there is a tire there, so they actually have to come back towards the middle of the track to avoid the tire barrier as they come out over to the jump.
Yeah, you don't want to hit the tires because that's going to ruin that jump, and it's totally going to wreck your race car, especially start spinning out in front of everybody, and people are going to try to dodge you, and it's really hard to maneuver this race car in the dirt part of it on the way it is, so be very careful going over that jump.
Someone we haven't got to spend a lot of time talking about is Rusty Webb. Rusty Webb currently scored 8th place right here, and he's got the blue and green Fox car, and I'll tell you what, that little VW, this guy, he's going to be my dark horse pick. I think this guy's going to make it to the show.
All right, and that might be a pretty good pick too, because he was in the show in the main event at Iowa 2 weeks ago. He finished 6th place after starting 9th. So Rusty Webb, he can get it done, and he could be a good dark horse pick here tonight. As far as a dark horse pick, I am going to go with Corey Lindsey.
Corey Lindsey, your dark horse pick, scored 9th right now in qualifying, so you do like a dark horse.
Dark horse who is more likely going to start in the back of the pack, but that's okay. If he sees the carnage ahead, he's going to swing right by.
Alright, so qualifying is over. Things are getting ready to switch over to the actual heat race. Now, once again, it's a 10-lap heat race, so these guys are going to be on the throttle for 10 laps or less if they can't make it all the way around. And it's going to be really good. I think we're going to see some really close racing. No one really set a 42-second lap time. Our best was Johnny Thomas with a 43.207. And everyone is really, really close on the timesheet.
Top 5 drivers are in the 43-second bracket. Then we go into the 44 threes and onward into the 44s. So, but the closest times is probably going to be the top 4 guys, separated by 0.4 of a second in qualification time. But Johnny Thomas will be given credit for the pole in the second heat race of the evening.
Johnny Thomas on the pole here as the cars take to the grid, and just do a little bit of looking around here, and it's quite the field. We got 9 cars in this event.
A little bit bigger than the first heat race, but that is to be expected. About 4 of these guys are going to go home after tonight's second heat race, and actually everybody's all graded up and they're getting ready to go.
All right, lights are on. Here we go for and 1 jump in the start, 2 jump in the start.
That was the 88 and
Green
the
flag
77.
comes out now.
Yep, that was Drew Eisman and the 88 of Rusty Webb.
So those guys are going to get black flags for jumping the start. That is going to put a damper on their race plans.
It's definitely going to, because you cannot jump the start. iRacing will black flag you. And we already got
Contact.
collision. Yep, collision already. Oh, big time collision. Oh, one's upside down. That's Carlos Acosta.
Carlos Acosta upside down, part of that Team Blurry who we were talking about not too long ago. And that looks like he's going to have to take a tow as that car is not getting flipped back over.
3-car battle on the racetrack. Johnny Thomas, Kevin Finn, and Matt Hackathorn. All run nose to tail as of right now, but I'm sure they can get side by side eventually. Contact right there between two drivers. That would have been Kevin Finn and Johnny Thomas.
Those guys making contact, but able to keep going without losing any positions to cars on the track around them. But Kevin Finn probably not too happy about that little bit of contact.
Not too happy indeed, but we do have Paul Ross and Richard Hines who are close by, who are side by side. But the battle is on point for that second spot up there between, I believe that would be Hackathorn and Kevin Finn, and Johnny Thomas still nose to tail. Oh, trouble for Paul Ross coming off the corner.
Ooh,
the jump.
heavy damage for Paul Ross, and he has taken that behind the wall. He has taken a tow.
Yeah, I don't see him running into anything. Oh, he blew up. He just blew the engine.
Drew Eisman taking the Joker lap here. Eisman scored as our race leader.
Battle between Hackathorn right now and Kevin Finn. This is the closest battle on track for second position.
These two, while they're battling, it looks like they're reeling in Drew Eisman just a little bit.
Just a little bit, and I think the Joker lap kind of helped that for Drew Eisman. But Eisman already took that Joker lap, and now he's pulling away. So far, he, if iRacing really black flagged him, they would have actually called him already to pit road or disqualified him. So I think he should be okay. Rusty Webb, the other driver that made that jump, is still on track as well.
So the only car that is behind the wall or two cars behind the wall, Carlos Acosta and Paul Ross. So, our final transfer spot being held on by Richard Hines.
Richard Hines coming from the back of the pack, started 8th up to 5th. Nice swinging and dirt moving by Matt Hackathorn. I just seen at the corner of my eye. He lost a little time to Finn, but tell you what, don't count Hackathorn out, because eventually he will gun down Finn if Finn makes a mistake.
Corey Lindsay and Rusty Webb having heavy contact here.
Oh,
Rusty
no.
Webb smoking. Both our dark horses got together, and I don't think they're going to be able to keep going. That's some pretty heavy damage by both cars.
Man, Corey Lindsley really took a wild ride right there. He is smoking bad. He's on track right now. Very unfortunate. Richard Hines, you said he's smoking too, huh? No,
Rusty Webb.
Rusty Webb, okay.
Rusty Webb was my dark horse, and I just heard what I thought was an engine blow up, but it's probably just a car landing.
Johnny Thomas and Matt Hackathorn are close together. That would be a battle for third, as Finn did pull away from Hackathorn. Got enough gap.
We're watching Johnny Thomas now do his best to try and reel in Matt Hackathorn. But Hackathorn sitting in third spot right now.
And I have to make a report of this. Drew Eisman has a 17-second post-race penalty.
It's a 17-second post-race penalty, but it looks like that isn't going to be a problem, as Rusty Webb is scored 6th. He's behind the wall, so we currently only have 5 cars on track right now.
Yeah, that's true. So it looks like Eisman should be okay.
Eisman should be okay to make it through into the main event tonight, but that 17-second penalty will not necessarily mean he's going to win this thing, even though it'll be the first one across the line.
And watching these guys go over the jump, I've been watching Hackathorn and Thomas kind of go at it. They've been the closest battle on track. And I'm seeing these guys wheeling it and dealing it, because they're both going Dukes of Hazzard style. One's trying to gun down the other. It's like watching a car chase in one of those old classic movies.
Classic movie car chase going on here. A little bit of airborne, a little bit of dirt, and a little bit of smoky tire burnouts. What more could you ask for?
And look at Thomas whip that thing around.
So, again, these guys, you know, some ground was gained and lost right there in that hairpin.
Got about 3 laps to go for Mr. Drew Eisman, who's all by himself up there. Kevin Finn about 5 seconds back. And you got Hackathorn and Thomas, who've been pretty much nose to tail. Thomas has been trying to gun down Hackathorn. Cannot find a way to get around Hackathorn whatsoever. If Hackathorn makes a mistake, well, then there's Thomas's opportunity. But so far, Hackathorn is doing a really good job in driving this car.
We're going on board with Johnny Thomas right now in our T&D Rustic Decor onboard camera. Get a good shot of what it's like to go through that hairpin there. You got 2 distinct lines those drivers just took.
2 different lines, and they both whipped it around that corner, that hairpin back there, and coming across the start-finish line. Coming around this first corner right here, tough left-hander right here. He gets closer on entrance to Hackathorn, but he kind of loses him on exit.
So all 5 of our drivers on track have done the Joker lap, and 2 of the drivers that stayed in the or hit the pits early did not do it. So everyone on track has your Joker lap completed.
Rusty Webb, Corey Lindsay, Carlos Acosta, and Paul Ross all in the pits getting repairs on their car, and they will, and more than likely will not make it to the main event tonight.
So final lap for Drew Eisenman. He is solid driver. He was fastest in his practice session from earlier today, and looks like he's not slowing down any here in race trim. I will say though, in his race trim, he did turn a 42.783 for his best lap.
That's a very good lap time, and you know, he just missed it in qualification. Actually, 42.782 is actually the fastest I think we've seen all night long, but he just missed it in qualification. He's coming to take the checker flag right now, so congratulations to Drew Eisman on heat race number 2. Kevin Finn is going to finish in second. But look back, we got a battle for third. It's Hackathorn getting to the line first over Johnny Thomas. And then you would have Richard Hines, who's going to finish in 5th.
So Richard Hines, final transfer spot. He is going to be making the show. So we watch him come around here. So congratulations, your top 5 are Drew Eisenman, Richard Hines, Johnny Thomas, Matt Hackathorn, Kevin Finn, and not in that particular order. Is it iRacing updated it right as I was saying that and moved Drew Eisman into 4th.
Yep. So the credit of the win is actually going to go to Kevin Finn due to that penalty time of Drew Eisman. So Kevin Finn, according to iRacing official scoring, will get the victory in heat race number 2. Hackathorn 2nd, Johnny Thomas 3rd, Eisman's 4th, and Richard Hines 5th. But regardless, it does not change that top 5 that's going to enter that main event.
No, the top 5 stays the same, and I have pulled our Heat 2 race winner in to see if we can fit a word or 2 in with him. Mr. Finn, are you there?
I am. I didn't even know I won.
You won because the 77 of Drew Eisman jumped the start a little.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I'll take it, I guess.
So congratulations on your Heat race number 2 win. Tell us, was it a little bit of a mind game? You knew you were going to finish second to Drew, so you caused him to jump at the start there?
Oh, definitely. That's where I pulled up the like always.
So tell us a little bit about the track, and especially the hairpin where you switch from dirt to pavement, and how you feel you need to attack that corner.
Yeah, it's definitely tricky going into really any of these corners. That corner is really tricky for me. It's probably the hardest one. I still can't get that down, but yeah, it's all about the weight movement, shifting and everything, but still getting a feel of these cars is really, it's new to everybody, but it's hard for me, so I'll take what I can get, see what I can get in the main.
Well, you did a great job here. You know, you finished second, and you did a great job crossing the finish line second in the penalty of Drew Eisman. You weren't really out there slouching either, so you got a good shot at this feature win tonight. Do you need to make any changes to driving style or whatnot to try and reel these guys in?
I think just survive turn 1, 2, and hopefully come out with a good top 5. And Peter and Drew are going to be real fast, so just going to survive, do my own race, and see where I can end up. Hopefully bring home top 5.
All right, Tanner, any questions for our Heat Race 2 winner?
Well, Kevin, you weren't the fastest in the second heat race, but do you have any confidence as far as running in the top 5 or the top 3 that you could gain to throw into that main event here tonight?
Someone, yeah. Just going to do. I put myself in the best position to win. I think I can pull top 5 based on speed, but you never know what happens, as we saw the last race in Iowa.
Right, exactly. And you know, as far as these races here, or this race here tonight, Lucas Oil Raceway, what, in your opinion as a driver, since you're the one that's obviously driving out there, what is the hardest corner of the racetrack in your opinion?
I'd say probably the first one, getting on the brakes is real sketchy, and the car just either wants to push or slide out from underneath you, and you really have to get the weight moved in going into the corner so you can get a good entry and exit in the corner. And probably the last hairpin is one I find really difficult.
All right, Kevin. Well, thank you for taking the time to talk with us here tonight, and good luck in the main event. And hopefully we'll see you in victory lane if anything happens up towards the front, because anything can happen, as we seen 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, talk to you guys. Thanks.
Back to you, KR.
All right, that was Kevin Finn, our Heat Race 2 winner. So congratulations to him. And we need to, I guess, move on to the main event. So any closing thoughts and things you'd like to say here from Heat Race number 2?
Heat race number 2 was probably just as clean. Maybe actually, the heat race number 2 actually had a little more action than the first heat race. Maybe due to the amount of drivers that were out on the racetrack here in heat race number 2. But I tell you what, that first corner of the racetrack, that first left-hander, seems like it's the disaster corner of the race. Not so much as that one corner that you and I were talking about, that hairpin part. Yes, that's a hard time it's a hard part of the track as far as gaining time and losing time. But I think the disaster corner of the track is that first left-hander, as Kevin just spoke about. As he says, that in his opinion, that's one of the hardest corners, he thinks. But we'll have to see how this is all going to play out with all 10 drivers in the main event.
Throw in that Joker lap at exit right there for that corner entrance, and it's crazy. It's going to be interesting when this green flag flies, how the feature is going to play out.
Yeah, absolutely. And like we seen 2 weeks ago in Iowa, anything can happen. I mean, we've seen the pole center, Peter Short, not win the race, not even lead a lap at Iowa. So you just never know what's going to happen this week.
All right, so once again, Kevin Finn, your race winner, Matt Hackathorn, Johnny Thomas, Drew Eisenman, Richard Hines. Those are your top 5. Those guys advance. Going home will be Rusty Webb, Corey Lindsay, Carlos Acosta, and Paul Ross. So, guys, that's going to do it for us here in Heat Race number 2. We're going to go to a quick commercial break, and then we will be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to MaxSpeedTV. Thank you very much for joining myself and Tanner Sharp here in the booth. Just want to go over a couple things real quick. Once again, MaxSpeedTV is brought to you by simspeedshot.com. Make sure you check those guys out. Also, HREmotorsports.com. You can find them on the web, and a great racing team. Elite 7 Racing. Virtual2Reality.tv. Those guys, along with Dirtco Media House, doing some great stuff with the dirt side of iRacing, and the Ohio IndyCar League. Got to give a big shout out to the sponsors that we have here at MaxSpeedTV. And one of the things that we do here at MaxSpeedTV is we do like to play the Star Spangled Banner before our main events, and we're going to go ahead and ask that everyone please join us as we go ahead and jump right into that.
We take you down onto the track for our opening ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise. Please remove your hats.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous flight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Alright, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining us in the Star Spangled Banner. And we are in the final 3 minutes of practice. And I'll tell you, we got some, the 10 of the best drivers so far tonight. And of those best, Peter Short back on top of the charts. And he has not gotten down into the 42-second bracket like we saw him in his qualifying time. But he might be working on a little bit of fuel, race trim. You know, we're doing 13 laps here for this main event, so that car has got to be full of fuel.
Yeah, I mean, don't count out Drew Eisman just yet. I mean, he was very fast in race trim. Peter Short's fast qualifying trim and race trim. Even though Peter Short right now is running a 43 in the 43-1s, that's about what he runs in race trim. So if he can consistently rack up those times, he'll walk away right with it. But I am seeing some close lap times. Jordan Teal, Kevin Finn, Johnny Thomas are only separated between a 10th, and that time between second place is very close. 43.23 to a 43.253. But I mean, the top 5 guys usually run close lap times.
The top 5 guys are really pretty close here. So with them being that close, you know, it's going to be interesting to see who can survive turn 1, and it seems like whoever gets out in the front here tonight really kind of gets that clean air and says see you later, waves goodbye to the rest of the crowd.
Yeah, usually, and that's if you can escape the big accident that would happen in the first tight-hand corner of the racetrack. We've seen about 2 weeks ago Paul Ross did that, and he won the race. It's just a matter if you can get through that big wreck or not. It's like, I mean, you starting these races in the main event, it's like starting Daytona or Talladega. You know, you get into that first corner and some guy's going to take a 3 wide right off the bat. You just don't know what's going to happen. You're going to end up in a wreck, or are you going to get through it? What's going to happen? That's the same mindset feeling when you enter the first very tight corner of the racetrack, and it's either you're going to get through it. If you get through it, then that's great, and you can pick up positions on the racetrack because there's no cautions in this race.
No cautions. It goes green flag the whole time, so we're not going to be able to check in on a whole lot of replays unless we get a chance to. You know, it's going to be hard to do, but we'll try and pull something out and make sure that everyone knows exactly what's going on. So
yeah, I agree.
Just kind of watching some of the cars here, and really the 77 machine of Drew Eisman really looks like he's having a hard time getting some grip and get that car moving forward when he's on the dirt side of it.
Yeah, Eisman, he's run slower lap times compared to what he ran in the heat race. Eisman's actually in the 43.7s now, and that's only good for 7th fastest on the racetrack in practice right now. As practice is now over with, we're going to head over into qualification, and we have seen, and check this out, a 42.476, one of the fastest we have ever seen here tonight.
Peter Short got on the loud pedal for qualifying. Man, did he lay down a lap. Or practice, sorry. Now we're into qualifying.
Yeah, let's only a matter of minutes here of what he's going to be able to run in qualification.
Peter Short, first car out on track for qualifying. And here he goes. He is on the clock.
Peter Short on the clock. Clear traffic ahead of him. Time to make a perfect lap time right now. Now's the time to do it. Don't mess up. So far, making a right-hander. Coming over to the hill right now. The jump. Now he's going to have to dirt track it through this section of the racetrack right here. Then he's going to loop it around, which is really going to gain. It's either it's going to make or break this lap time right here. Then he's going to get on the loud pedal, and he's going to try to nurse this thing open to the start-finish line. And he'll put up a lap time.
So Peter Short, first car to put up a lap time, put him at a 42.604. So he's picking up right where he left off with practice.
That's lap time so far, other than that 42 is a 44. So that is huge right there.
Chad Brown with a 44.53 scored third. Johnny Thomas second with a 43.464.
Thomas racking up a good lap time right there. He knows he can run faster. He ran a 2 in practice, and this time he ran a 4. So hopefully Johnny Thomas can pick up a couple more tenths right there to match that lap time or even improve it.
Johnny Thomas running the Volkswagen Beetle car. And, you know, all these cars are taking a little bit of front end damage when they land going over the jump. I haven't seen one that doesn't have it yet.
I'm trying to see if Peter Short has some. Peter Short has,
he's got some wrinkles. I can see some wrinkles on the front end of that thing.
Yeah, the damage, it can be damaged, and if you hit any kind of cones or tire barriers, that can certainly damage the race car as well. Actually, I'm seeing the hood of the car on Peter Short's car.
Richard Hines scored in 6th place right now with a 44.685, 44.685, good enough for 6th. And Richard Hines, you know, managed to make it into our feature. I believe he was 5th in his heat race.
He was definitely 5th in the heat race. He wasn't very fast, but he still got into the heat race. So I'm sure he's pretty stoked about being here. He's going to do his absolute best to try to at least get another top 5 finish here tonight.
We got one smoking. Not Kevin Finn. He is in the pits. Kyle Henshaw was the one that was smoking. Or Henshaw. Sorry, not Henshaw. Kyle currently in second place with a 43.283. Johnny Thomas now third. Drew Eisman fourth with a 43.912 is his best lap. Nick Miller fifth with a 44.236. And rounds out your top 5 here in qualifying.
I want to say Eisman and Short are teammates because I am seeing Eisman Tech on the Peter Short machine. So I'm sure there could be some information being displayed between the two teammates on, hey man, how can I run a fastest lap time? And actually, Eisman did 42.7.
So Eisman now in the 42-second brackets and scored second place.
Pretty cool to watch those teammates go at it, I can tell you that much, especially if they're running close lap times like they are.
Nick Miller, Team Blurry, is currently 5th on the charts with a 43.938. And, you know, his Team Blurry, his other Team Blurry teammates, Corey Lindsay and Carlos Acosta, unable to make it. Looked like they both got together in their heat race, and neither car was able to continue on.
Yeah, they can continue on, so I'm sure Team Blur is going to be rooting on Nick Miller, who is currently qualified into 5th position so far here tonight, looking to improve more. And actually, somebody just jumped up there now as Kevin Finn just jumped in the top 5, taking his first laps of the main event server.
So Kevin Finn scored 4th. Took his time coming out here, but he has made his statement as soon as he did, put him 4th place.
4th place for Kevin Finn. Nice job on that win. And the even though he wasn't the fastest, but still got that win due to that penalty of Eisman. That's one thing we're gonna have to watch out for, is who's gonna jump the race at the main event. If you do that, man, you might cost yourself the race.
17-second penalty here is gonna be very bad, very bad. We don't want to see that on any driver, so everyone pay attention to the lights. Don't jump the start.
That would probably be me jumping the start if I was in these things, because I'd be so anxious to go. I do got a lead foot, so...
Matt Hackathorn currently scored 10th place with a 44.680. He was in a epic battle there in heat race number 2, and now he's scored 10th here. So to me, qualifying doesn't seem to be super important, as the cars really kind of stack up. If you're not in the front 3, it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot of advantage to qualifying unless you're in the top 3 and are on the front row for this.
My question, if I was driving on here, I'd be like, all right, we're gridding up. What's going to happen in that first left-hander, that first tight left-hander, where all the wrecks have been happening tonight, as we see in the first and second heat races. So with that being said, it's like, should you just lay back and kind of see what happens if they all wreck or what? I don't know what kind of strategy these guys are going to pull off. Are they just going to go for it? Are they going to lean back just a little bit? We're going to be finding out here in about, 3 minutes from now?
Just over 3 minutes left in this qualifying session. And Matt Hackathorn, who when we were talking about him, was 10th. He's currently scored 7th now and sitting on pit road.
Yeah, I mean, if they all wreck ahead of him and Hackathorn can pick up those spots, he can compete with somebody. I'm sure he can go side by side for a little while, or nose to tail with Nick Miller out there on the racetrack. I'm sure he can, or at least one of those guys. So this is going to be a very interesting race, maybe just as interesting as we seen 2 weeks ago at Iowa.
So this track, very tricky to pass on, as we mentioned earlier. The drivers all saying that, a little hard to pass on. But we were able to see a lot of, as Peter Short almost got wiped out by a car leaving pit road.
And you got to be careful of that.
Matt Hackathorn sending a message to Peter Short saying, hey, I'm here.
Yeah, just a little bit of a bumper tap, just a little kiss.
Final 2 minutes of qualifying now. Drew Eisman holding on to 2nd. Peter Short still scored 1st. Johnny Thomas 3rd. Nick Miller 4th. And Kyle Henshaw will be 5th.
Wrapping up quote, we got a little under 2 minutes here at Lucas Oil Raceway for the 3 Wide Racing League's Rallycross Triple Crown event.
Just saw Nick Miller do a skateboarding move, went off the jump, and landed on the concrete wall, dead center down the middle of his car.
That was actually a pretty cool move.
Very talented there.
I wonder
Surprised.
if anybody's ever made that jump and got bumped while in air and actually landed on the opposite end of the racetrack. That's like pulling an old. This is gonna sound really nerdy-ish, but it sounds like when you play that old Mario Kart game on that old was it the N64, where you can jump the wall to break down the lap time.
Yeah. yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yep. Knock somebody off, knock them into the next lap.
Yep, exactly.
So these cars really getting into crunch time here. Final 30 seconds of qualifying, and now's the time to get it. If you got anything left in your car, better get out there and lay down a lap.
Sure, some of these guys can't. Yeah, sorry to interrupt, but I'm sure some of these guys they're like, man, I can't improve my lap time. I'm just going to try to practice a little more and use this extra time to just kind of turn some practice laps to get the feel of the racetrack, into a rhythm, and then so you can understand when you actually go out there, you know what you're going to do.
I would agree that it would be a solid strategy, as the checkered flag is flying now for qualifying. It is over. That's going to put Peter Short as our pole sitter. We'll go through the results here real quick. Peter Short wins pole. Drew Eisenman second. Johnny Thomas third. Fourth place, Nick Miller. Fifth, Kyle Hanshaw. Sixth is Jordan Teal. Kevin Finn will be seventh. Matt Hackathorn eighth. Richard Hines ninth. And Chad Brown will round out this field in 10th place.
All right, now it's going to be the moment of truth, is who's going to jump the start, as we've seen in heat race number 2. Actually, that'll be the first time all season long in the Rallycross series of the 3 Wide Racing League of the Triple Crown that we've seen somebody actually jump the start. So we'll have to see who's all going to pay attention here and who's not going to pay attention. Hopefully Drew Eisman has learned his lesson, because that literally, he may have dominated the race, but it technically cost him the win in heat race number 2.
That 17-second penalty put him down from race winner into 4th. And here we go. The gridding has started. Guys are starting to take to the grid. And it's going to be a crazy start. And it's going to be led by Peter Short.
I have a pretty cool blimp view camera to see who really jumps to start here, just to make sure. But I do see the number 22 blinking just a little bit. Shouldn't be a factor. It's the first time I've seen it all night long. And do I see all 10 cars all gridded up?
They are all gridded up. The lights are on. The yellow light is on. We're getting ready, guys. Here we go. Green is out.
Green, green, green. And look at Jordan Teal coming up through the middle. He played that start perfectly, too. That was the 14 of Kevin Finn.
Kevin Finn getting a great start. Now he's going side by side here into turn 1. Contact. Oh, and he's going to finish in the log jam with the 40, the 64 Chad Brown, or sorry, 46 Kyle Hanshaw in trouble there. And now Finn gets in trouble on his own, and Matt Hackathorn pulls into 4th place.
Oh, Hanshaw and Hines get together. And we got a car on the wall. Team Blurry. That would be Nick Miller. Hard into the inside wall, and he's going to have to take a tow.
Going to instant replay here, starting with the logjam in turn 1.
Just as I predicted, there was going to be probably a big wreck in that first turn 1 down there, that first sharp left-hander where you get on the binders.
We're watching Nick Miller go off the jump here, land horribly wrong, and just take a dead left into the outside, or into the wall.
Very unfortunate for Nick Miller.
So Kevin Finn, Nick Miller, first cars behind the wall, and they've incurred the damage that they needed towing.
Closest battle on the racetrack right now as far as time is concerned, of lap times, would be between the race leaders. But here comes the Joker lap for Eisman.
Eisman on the Joker lap. He completes it nicely, able to turn that sharp left-hand turn and keep going.
Johnny Thomas, Matt Hackathorn going at it once again, just as we've seen in heat race number 2.
These guys picking up right where they left off. Epic battle. And we got 13 laps to do here. 10 more to go. 3 completed.
And the only difference between Hackathorn and Thomas is that Hackathorn was in front of Thomas.
Ooh.
And oh, Thomas hit the wall. And oh, spins out goes Hackathorn.
Hackathorn nowhere to go when Thomas got into the wall, and it upset his corner entry there, and he had to get on the binders or cut the course, and that would not be a good thing to do.
Yeah, he may have tried to avoid Thomas there, but definitely a racing deal between the two drivers.
So Drew Eisman, currently the only one on our score sheet shown in the top 5 that has done a Joker lap. Jordan Teal scored 6th, has completed his Joker lap.
Eisman's keeping good tabs. Actually, it was Short just had a way better exit out of that. That corner, you mentioned it. That turn 3 corner over on the oval side over there. I don't know what that corner is. I might have to memorize these corners. But that is a make or break lap time right there. And that was a fine example between Eisman and Short.
We go on board now with Drew Eisman with our TND Rustic Decor camera. Right as he gets ready to go over the jump, you can see blue sky, some pretty clouds, and then bam, you have landed back on Earth.
Definitely have. You're floating for a little. You're in the air for a little bit. And here comes that tight corner where it's going to break your time. I'm telling you, the only driver I'm seeing that's making that corner really work is Peter Short, hands down.
Peter Short showing how fast he is here at Lucas Oil Raceway Park. Getting a little bit of a gap now over Drew Eisman. About 2.2 seconds last time by.
Ooh, almost close to the wall goes Eisman. Almost scraped it. Tell you what, it got to the point where you couldn't fit a piece of paper between Eisman and the wall.
So it looks like we're getting ready to have a 3-car battle here. Jordan Teal, Johnny Thomas, Matt Hackathorn, all getting ready to fight for 3rd place here.
Thomas has caught back up to Hackathorn, man. Now it's just a matter of trying to get around him. And this is the same way. This is the same side.
Looked like he thought about a dive bomb.
That was cutting it close. And actually, we've seen these. Wasn't these 3 drivers in heat race number 2?
Yeah, these guys were going at it. I think it was the same 3.
Hackathorn was the one out front. I remember that much. So Thomas has actually gunned down Hackathorn. It's just a matter of trying to get around him. Oh, into the wall goes Hackathorn. That's going to slow down the lap time just a little bit. May have just scraped it, actually. To no avail.
Some more Joker laps being completed. We got 6 laps to go. A couple drivers still on track who have not turned a Joker lap.
Thomas into the outside wall. Gets passed by Jordan Teal. And that's actually, Thomas actually kind of stacked it up just right there. Right now he's in battle for position on the 64 machine of Chad Brown. And Thomas spins it into the inside wall, onto the entrance of the Joker lap.
He's going to do it in reverse. He's doing a true Joker lap.
My oh my. He is trying to do it in reverse.
Looks like he's got it completed. Now he's doing a 180.
Yeah, almost got into Teal there. While waiting for these guys to come around. Got one more car. Then he should be okay. He's clear.
Driving into the outside wall. Tried to accelerate, spin the back tires. And they just dug in and shot him into the wall.
He's probably sitting in that car like, are you kidding me right now? Very unfortunate for Johnny Thomas. He had a great run going. He had a great run in the heat race number 2, and he had a great run going here in the main event. That's just very unfortunate.
So Peter Short got into a little bit of trouble there, caught the inside wall, brought his car to a dead stop that allowed Drew Eisman to close the gap on him. But Peter Short, once he got it straightened back out, shot out of that dirt and asphalt part and opened that gap back up.
I had a good battle for you. Actually, it might be still going on. I got Kyle Hanshaw and Chad Brown going at it for a top 5 spot. Looks like Hanshaw is not getting these corner exits written down very good, which is allowing Chad Brown to pull away.
Chad Brown taking his joker lap here. Got to be very careful how you enter this. He's going to lose a spot here to Kyle Hanshaw as he does it.
Another battle that's brewing up. Jordan Teal, Matt Hackathorn. That would be a battle for 3rd place if they were side by side.
These two going at it almost all race. They got 3 more laps to go to figure out how they want to finish this race.
Teal has actually been hunting down Hackathorn. Hackathorn's just been running his race. Nowhere in comparison of Drew Eisman or Peter Short. And I think Eisman just wrecked. Eisman just wrecked for 2nd.
Eisman on his lid. Go to replay here. Chad Brown, the only driver so far not to take a joker lap.
Oh, man, he tried balancing that race car. He hit the tire barrier on that entrance, and he really tried fighting the wheel to try to keep that car leveled and on its wheels, but it just turned right over on him.
So Drew Eisman having to take a tow here. That's really going to hurt his race.
And on top of that, that just blew up the battle for 2nd place between Matt Hackathorn and Jordan Teal. Jordan Teal had a terrible exit last time by, and that sharp left-hander, that cost him some time on the racetrack. Very unfortunate for Drew Eisman here tonight after a solid run.
So Peter Short, no one near him last time around had a 24-second lead over Matt Hackathorn. And final lap for him. Here we go. He's going and throwing it sideways. Looked like he locked all 4 of them up, trying to slow it down to make this left-hand turn onto the dirt.
Car right behind Peter Short is Richard Hines, who's currently 1 lap down in the 6th position. It's all Peter Short going over the bump, or the jump, I should say, and coming up to the make or break corner of the racetrack on your lap time. He has been mastering this corner all night long. Coming down to the checkered KR, it's going to be Peter Short winning at Lucas Oil Raceway.
Peter Short getting it done. Once again, won the heat race, and now he has won the main event. So congratulations to Peter Short. Way, way back in a 2nd place, Matt Hackathorn hasn't. Now he gets it going back again. On the final corners here, that is how far away Peter Short was. Matt Hackathorn gonna finish 2nd, and Jordan Teal right behind him in 3rd. Kyle Hanshaw coming across now, he'll be 4th, and Chad Brown rounds out your top 5.
2 drivers that started in the top 5 tonight has finished in the top 5, so that's 2 drivers out of 5 that finished in the top 5. That's a pretty good stat right there. As what I'm looking, Matt Hackathorn came from 8th. Jordan Teal came from 6th. The other top 5 driver that started in the top 5 tonight was Kyle Hanshaw, who started 5th, finished 4th. And what a good run for Chad Brown. Started 10th and finishing 5th.
Great job by them. And, I'm going to be pulling up the drivers here into our team speak. So bear with me just a second as I do that. I got 1 more to track down. See if I can find him. Looking for Mike. I don't know if he's in here. Yep, there. I just found him. All right, we got all 3 drivers in here, and I will let you take on the race winner there, Tanner.
Absolutely. Peter Short, we're talking to you again for the 2nd time tonight. First off, congratulations on the dominating performance here at the Lucas Oil Raceway. And, man, you seem like this racetrack, actually this course of the rally course, really suits your driving style.
Yeah, like I said earlier, you got to be able to swing your weight with these cars. And I was able to do that tonight. It was a lot of fun. It wasn't easy. Did not bring this baby back home in one piece. We bounced off the wall a couple times, and looking back through the field, I think we kept more fenders on it than most people. So I guess that's good. But all in all, thanks to Drew Eisenman. Tough luck there at the end, but it was a lot of fun.
Did you feel any kind of pressure on the very first lap if anybody was going to dive bomb the corner, or did you feel pressure from your teammate Drew Eisman because he seems like he was keeping tabs with you for a little while?
Oh yeah, the heat race there wasn't too much pressure, but I watched the second heat and man, I was like, I don't know if I don't know how this second race or the final race, excuse me, is going to pan out because it seemed like everyone was right there on pace and. Drew was right there with me, and he was right there in my back bumper for those first 5 or so laps, and definitely there was pressure. I definitely felt it.
All right, Peter. Now you finally get a win that you maybe could have, should have, would have won Iowa, but you finally rebound and get that win here tonight, Lucas Oil. And now we wrap up Iowa and Lucas Oil, and now we're gonna head to Daytona International Speedway Rallycross. How do you feel about your chances in Daytona?
Yeah, Daytona's an interesting track. I've been able to drive the Rallycross version of it, and it's interesting. The jump, if you hit the jump wrong, man, it can really ruin your race. And there's a little tricky section right after the jump that if you don't get the jump just right, that little tricky section can eat you. So I'm looking forward to it. I love these things, and it'll be fun. It'll be the final race of the Triple Crown for these things. So bring it on.
Absolutely, and Daytona International Speedway for 3-wide racing is next week's Monday night. Peter, thank you for taking the time to talk with us here tonight, and congratulations on the win, and we will see you in Daytona next week.
Thanks, guys.
Back to you, KR.
All right, second place, Mr. Mike Hackathorn. Are you there, sir?
Mike Hackathorn. It's Matt Hackathorn.
Matt, it's not, yeah, that's what I said.
That's my teammate.
That's exactly what I said. So, congratulations on second place. Sorry for saying Mike. I saw the M and got a little excited. So, you ran second place. You had Jordan Teal nipping at your heels in the heat race and in the feature, and you managed to pull out second place. Tell us a little bit about your race.
I just try to stay consistent. I went off a little bit too hot into one and pancaked the wall, and it really took out my right rear tire. So going into one was a nightmare. That's where I was expecting Jordan to make his move, but fortunately I was able to get through the last little hairpin better than he was able to, and I was able to get my gap, so he's never close enough going into one because I just focused. I just made sure I hit my marks, hit my apexes, and try to stay off the e-brake as much as I could.
Now, speaking of the e-brake, is there any particular time you felt you needed to use it, or do you kind of just try and roll through the corners here?
In the heat race, I was using a lot more because it was a lot tighter because the track had a lot more dirt on it. The track was honestly pretty much down to pavement for the main event. I was mainly just using it for the final hairpin, and kind of if I overshot my corner a little bit, going off into one, I'd use it to aim my nose down, but that was mainly the only place where I used it.
All right, so second place, epic battle between you and Jordan Teal all throughout the night. Are you a little worn out from it?
Not too bad. I mean, not as bad as Rockingham last night. That was or not Rockingham, Richmond. See, now we're both doing it.
You saw the R and got excited.
Yeah.
So, all right, well, once again, congratulations on second place. Any special thanks you'd like to give out?
I'd like to thank Corey for always putting this on. He's given me the opportunity to do a lot of stuff for the league, and I enjoy that. And, of course, my team owner, even though he's not here in racing the Triple Crown, at least this portion of it, Mike Stevens. Thank you guys for broadcasting. Thanks everyone for having a pretty good race, honestly. Like, I had fun with that. This was my first ever competitive rallycross race, so I'll take that.
All right, well, thank you very much. And we're going to move on to our third place finisher, and Tanner Sharp's going to run this one.
Yeah, I've caught up with Jordan Teal, and Jordan, you had a pretty good heat race in earlier tonight, competing with other drivers on the racetrack. Just couldn't really pass anybody, but here tonight you get a third place in the main event. Congratulations on that. And tell me about your race in that main event. Seemed like it was pretty wild from start to finish.
Yeah, it was a really rough, wild night. Turn one almost ended the night. I don't know who got into who, but someone in front of me was basically blocking the road. And so I just had to sit there and try to figure out what was going to open up first, try to get by people without damaging my car. I did end up touching someone, hit the front end a little bit, but didn't damage it too bad. Still kind of drove normal. After that, it was just protect the car from the barriers. I mean, that's what killed me in the heat race. During the Joker, I hit the wall, and then that just messed up my steering. So the main key for me in the feature race was to keep all four corners of the car on, just keep going down the track. I really thought I was going to be able to track Matt down at the end, but just had nothing for him. He definitely had a better hairpin. And then coming into turn one, I just didn't want to overshoot it and take either of us out or just hit the wall, self spin or something like that. So just kind of trying to keep the car together.
Yeah, absolutely, and that was probably the main goal towards other drivers as well, as keeping the car together. Overall, how much in these 13 laps is usually a short amount of laps for these rally crosses. But in your opinion as a driver, how much does the track change from lap 1 to lap 13 tonight?
I really noticed it more in the heat race and the feature, but it definitely speeds up. You get a little bit less push as the race goes on. You just get more grip really in the dirt sections. Either the track rubber's in or the dirt wears out and gets to pavement in some corners. I don't know, but it just feels like you can really throw the car around more, get the momentum around the corner, and just get on down the straight.
Well, you do rebound from a 9th place finish at Iowa 2 weeks ago to a 3rd place finish here. How do you feel about your chances in Daytona next week? Do you think you can go for a win, a top 5? What's your confidence level at?
I don't know. I mean, the main key, again, is to just finish the race at Daytona. There's a really tricky section coming out of the dirt that if you just hit it wrong, you'll start spinning and hit the wall or hit someone else. So that's going to be the main goal there, is to kind of get the consistency down lap by lap and shoot for another top 3. If we get the win, that'll be awesome. But I don't know if I have anything on Peters, so he'll have to mess up or something for me to get by him.
All right, Jordan. Well, thank you for taking the time to talk with us tonight, and hopefully we will see you back in the top 3 next week in Daytona.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Back to you, KR.
All right, so we heard from our top 3 finishers, but let's go through our results. Once again, Peter Short dominating race here, finishing 1st. 2nd place, Matt Hackathorn. Got it right that time. Thank you very much. Jordan Teal in 3rd. Kyle Hanshaw 4th. 5th place, Chad Brown. 6th place, Richard Hines. 7th, Drew Eisman, who was running 2nd, then got a little bit up on his lid. Johnny Thomas, epic Joker lap there by the 8th place finisher of Johnny Thomas. Nick Miller in the 99 finishing 9th, and Kevin Finn will round out this race in 10th place. So, what a great race. Anything for that main event that really stood out in your mind?
The main events in the 3-Wide Racing League have always been exciting since the drop of the green flag of the heat race back in Iowa 2 weeks ago. So I'm really looking forward to Daytona next week. It's going to be some pretty good racing in the heat races. But then, like I said, the intensity level picks up as once the main event starts. And that's what's going to happen to finish out the Triple Crown Rallycross of the 3-Wide Racing League.
This was round 2 of the Triple Crown of the Rally Division. As far as the Triple Crown goes, we still have the Dirt Sprint Car and the Indy Car to do, and that will be later this year. So, man, I'll tell you, I'm excited for this Triple Crown stuff. And, you know, sandwiched in between the Triple Crowns, we have some Cup Cars and Truck Series to do as well. So, it's going to be a great year.
It's going to be a great year for the 3-Wide Racing League. They have come along so much, and you know, as not just a league, but the community of it. And it's a very competitive league. It gets competitive every single season. I'm proud to be part of it in some way, shape, or form, whether it's up in a booth or driving, since the inaugural race back in 2011. So it's been fun ever since.
So, all right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for us here at MaxSpeedTV. Once again, I am KR Stolfus. This was Tanner Sharp. I hope y'all enjoyed the race. And until next time, y'all, we'll catch y'all later.